Hey, Mike Callahan, quick video. I know a lot of people are having a disconnect with Facebook advertising. And one of the newest things that have just come out with Facebook is how to track offline conversions. And basically what that is if you're creating an estimate in a platform such as Service Autopilot with a link to through an email. So if you get an email, there's a link, they'd click on it, they'd open up an estimate. The customer can actually select the service and agree and sign up for it, or they're either calling your office or accepting in person. These are all offline conversions or sales. A online conversion would be similar to some of the people I know in Service Autopilot use a third-party software to make sales on their website with an automated estimating feature. That would be an online conversion, but it would be a third-party online conversion. So it wouldn't be directly through Facebook itself. So what we can do is go into Service Autopilot and have our lead sources or the marketing sources that people found out about us, whether they saw your vehicle or they saw an Everydoor Direct or a 9around. And what we can do is export that information out of Service Autopilot, out of your automated pricing software that you use on your website, or if you're using Google AdWords or Display Network ads, we can export that as well. Once we upload all this information under the Facebook Ads Manager, it's going to match up the name, the address, postal code, email. The more information, the better. And it's going to show you how your paid advertising in Facebook attributed to offline sales. So there was a major disconnect previously where people looked at Facebook and being a brick and mortar or a service company, most of our sales did not convert online right internally inside Facebook's ad platform. So there was no real way to get a pulse on what the actual ROI on our advertising was. So now with the ability to upload offline conversion tracking in Facebook under the Facebook Ads Manager, we can get a really good feel of what our content marketing and branding is doing on Facebook and see what was the last thing they clicked on or watched before they actually purchased a service from us in our CRM like Service Autopilot. So now we've got a pretty definitive number on what our ROI is for our different marketing things that we put out there as far as branding or content videos. A word to the wise or a little caution to the wind though is a lot of times we find that branding and content is a long-term play. It's not an immediate thing. So if you find that we're not getting an immediate conversion, it's based on a relationship. So it could be 5 to 10 or 15 interactions over the last 30, 60, or 90 days that actually gets that person to pick up the phone or hit your website to call you. But it should raise a red flag to any marketing source or content source that you're doing that's just an absolute dog if it's not working at all. And the way to put this into a big picture is if you have a marketing spend when you're at scale of say $20,000 to $30,000, this is going to give you at least a bit of a roadmap as a percentage what's having the biggest ROI and distribute that marketing dollar across the big hitters that are getting the biggest ROI. But also, you're going to want to delegate some of that cash flow to some of the lower conversion things there because we're building a relationship. And I'm going to steal an analogy from Ryan Dice, but basically says when you propose to someone and you ask them to marry you, it may not be the last birthday present you bought them or the last date you took them to actually say yes to your proposal for marriage. It's the courting and the relationship over the last 6 months or several years. So we can't discount the things that have happened throughout the relationship. And in business, it would be your marketing and your branding and the content and the value you're bringing. But we can now have a bit of a non-emotional thing with uploading offline tracking in Facebook so we can at least have a correlation to see which one of our marketing or branding or content functions led them, and the default I believe is the last 30 days, and that's adjustable to actually click or call your office. So now Facebook has a way to track your online sales, which they always have, but now we have a way to figure out our offline sales conversion by uploading this data. So in a minute, I'm going to hop into Service Autopilot if you're using that to show you how to pull this data out of Service Autopilot, how to set up these lead sources if you're not using them, even if you're not using Facebook, which I think you really should be. at this point in the game, we need to be tracking those lead sources. So I'll talk about the importance of that, but hopefully this makes sense. So just be aware that you can take your new sales by lead source, upload them into Facebook, and it's going to give you some great analytics on what the last thing that they interacted with, time and date, before the sale. And we can make some educated decisions if that correlated with the sale or not. But just be cautious that it's building a relationship and it's not just a one and done thing, and it's a cumulative effect. So I don't think there's anything in marketing or any marketing or branding or content that's bad unless it's just bad marketing content. So we're building brand equity. We're building some reciprocity. So they're going to come in and buy from us when they're ready to make that sale. But this is one tool that now is at our disposal as a service company. If we're not making these online sales or conversions, we can see what Facebook is bringing value to for our offline conversions. So we're going to nurture them. We're going to educate them. We're going to pixel them and retarget them online. But if we end up closing the sale offline, now we have a way to actually see a pretty good ROI on offline sales from our online marketing and content and branding activities. So Service Autopilot, you're going to want to go into CRM settings, and we're going to go into lead sources, and that's going to be the upper right-hand column here once this loads up. And now we're here, we're going to hit client source, and this is how we set it up. So I've got some default ones here I built, but these are all the ways that people heard about our company, and you can add sources as well. So it could be Facebook marketing and any information you got here. The next thing you want to do is go to CRM reports, and I would do this on a daily or weekly basis to upload this into your Facebook ads manager. And client source, right here, campaigns, and this is going to give you a pretty good report of your conversion rates and everything else, and the lead source. And this list, as well as some other reports in Service Autopilot, depending on how you're tracking it, can be uploaded right into Facebook and get you a pretty good idea of what's going on as far as your ROI and conversion rates based on your Facebook online advertising and your offline conversions. So if you have any questions or comments, drop below, and happy to answer them. But if you're not using Facebook and you're worried about using Facebook because you have no way to track your ROI, this is a great way to do that and see if you're making the sales. The other report you want to look at too is new sales as well. So you may want to merge some of these Excel sheets once you export them. So we have the date and time of the actual closed sale. So drop your questions below, and thanks again.